Paul, are you there?
To the phone. I am here, Ariel. How are you?
I'm doing great. What happened? I was so excited to see you.
I know. I could see you. You couldn't see me. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. It
Ah,
just wasn't meant to be on this occasion. But I do have the app. You have my username, so hopefully in the future we'll get it. We'll get it
all
going.
right. All right. Fair enough. Before we get into everything, Paul, I have to ask because I was riveted on Saturday. What did you think of the royal wedding?
Yes.
Was it amazing or what?
Well, it was very interesting. I thought they did a good job with the production, and she looked beautiful. And let's just hope that they have a very long and happy marriage because they look good together.
Are you one of those who are kind of like, it's a waste of money. What are we doing with this? Or do you appreciate it for what it is? How do you feel about it as a Brit?
You know, it's I don't I'd rather not comment on it because I might upset some people or yeah, people might hear what I'm saying. But I feel like there are other ways to spend the taxpayers' money.
Hmm.
But then, the royal family do bring a lot of money to the country through tourism. And obviously, historically, they've done a lot for the country. So it's one of those things. It is what it is, as I always say.
My impression is, and last thing on this, that a lot of people do like Harry though for what he's done as far as military work and philanthropy. Like, politics and the debate about the taxes is a very very important
Yeah.
one, and it's well put. But he does seem to be well liked by everyone. Is that accurate?
No, Prince Harry is, what I mean, he's like, I'll call him one of the realists, as we say, because he is. He seems like you could take him out for a drink, go for a drive, have a few pints, go party with him, and he seems very real. He seems very close to his mother, Princess Diana, in that he seems approachable. He is very much a man of the people, and I think he's done a fantastic job.
Yes.
Um, as a public servant. And funnily enough, when I was in the army, I was in the Blues and Royals. I was in the same regiment that Prince Harry was. And when Prince Harry came and joined the Blues and Royals, he was actually my squadron commander. But
Come on.
luckily for me, at the time I was in military. Yeah, that's a true story. I was in D Squadron Blues and Royals as a driver. But at the
What?
time that he joined the regiment, I was in military prison, so I passed him cross.
Wait. You were in military prison for what?
Another long story, but I'm sure it's all on Wikipedia mostly. Most things
Wha-
find their way to Wikipedia. But
Oh,
yeah, I was away. I was away polishing my boots and making to sweet rooms that are already clean and stuff like that. But yeah, Prince Harry was going to be our squadron commander.
wow. So you never met him?
I never met him. It's probably a good thing because you know, I don't know, we might have ended up on the front of the tabloids for, instigating some kind of riots. And obviously I would have got the blame, but it's all good. He seems like a very good, very nice guy, very approachable.
Paul, I must say, I've been interviewing you now for well over a decade. I just Googled Paul Daley military prison. Nothing has come up. This is way too big of a nugget to just,
No,
you know.
no, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a
Yes.
good thing it didn't come up. But you can go to military prison for anything. You can go to military prison for going AWOL. You can go to military prison for not being on parade on time or stuff like this. It was nothing big, but I thought it was already out there. Maybe
Wow.
I shouldn't have said it.
And could you tell us why you went to military prison, or you'd rather not?
I'd rather not.
All
I let
right.
speculation do the
Jeez.
work, and we'll
The
see what kind of stories.
the legend of Semtex grows by the day. I had no idea. That's
Yeah,
incredible. Just when we thought
I
we
got
knew it all
something
about you here.
interesting.
Yeah, this is amazing. Okay, we have a lot to discuss as far as last week goes. I watched that clip of you booing and talking to the broadcasters at the end of the fight. I must have seen it 100 times. Why did you feel compelled to do that, Paul? What was going through your mind when you were doing that?
Why? Do you know what it was? I just thought I think there was about a minute left on the clock. The ref was obviously not going to stand the fight up. It was not going to give me my post-fight interview. I was not going to a post-fight press conference. So I had to air it while I had the opportunity. I was in a situation where I felt comfortable. His ground and pound was pathetic. As you can see after the fight, I had no marks. I wasn't concussed. His submission attempts were, well, I don't even think he attempted to submit me. Yet he was allowed to stay on the ground, peppering away with these ineffective shots. So I thought I'd let whoever was watching know that I was comfortable. He's pathetic. Bellator, at the time, my opinion of them was that they're pathetic, and I felt like with everyone against me, this is the best time to let them know exactly how I feel.
So it was interesting that you just said Bellator at the time were pathetic. You threw in at the time.
Yeah.
Have your feelings possibly changed between now and then?
Do you know what it was? Fight week, I managed to spend a little bit of time with Scott Coker. It was a little bit awkward, and it seemed like it was very awkward for him to do what he did, but it got my respect in that he went around the room, and I could see he was like, should I approach Paul? Is he going to do something crazy or not? But in the end, he came over, and we exchanged some words. We're going to be meeting at Bellator London next week. We're going to have a sit down, and we're going to, hash things out and see exactly what can be done to keep Semtex happy.
So it was promising. Is it fair to put it that way?
Very promising, very promising. Just the fact, like I said when I spoke to you last time, I never spoke to Scott on a personal level, apart from the pre and post fight press conferences. So for him to make time, come over and say, look, Paul, I've heard what you've been saying. I do want to sit down and have a chat with you. He wanted to do it there and then. I'm like, I'm cutting weight right now. Can we do it, maybe sometime in the future? So we've set the date for Friday at Bellator 200.
And what was the rest of the week like as far as the interactions and just the vibe? Did you feel welcome, or did you kind of feel like you were on, eggshells, enemy territory? What was it like after everything you had said leading up to the fight?
It felt like they felt like they were walking on eggshells, and that they were in enemy territory. It was like everyone was scared of Semtex. Like no one knew what to say. They might as well have put flowers on the floor when I was walking. Everyone just wanted to keep me happy and keep me from doing some crazy shit, which I didn't do, bar that last little bit in the cage. I was very well behaved, very well mannered. I treated Bellator with the respect that they deserved, because finally, after spitting my dummy out, as we said, I got everybody's attention. I was allowed to express my feelings, and people, they were like, okay, we need to keep Semtex happy. So yeah, it was a good week. I enjoyed the week out there. To be honest with you, Bellator did everything right.
I asked you before the fight if you felt like booking you against Jon Fitch was a punishment of sorts, and then and you said what you had to say, and then the fight kind of goes as we all sort of fans of yours would have feared. It just go ahead.
But do you know what?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
I don't. It was. You could see it as a punishment. Matching me against a wrestler, I'm not really gonna have the most. It's the. I don't know how to put it, but yeah, matching against wrestlers is not great for the fans. But I felt like I normally have Mikey Beltrain as a ref or some other referee for the past 3 fights, I think. And then on this occasion, they've switched it for this Hergotz guy, whoever he is, who is a ground guy or whatever. So I feel like as soon as Mike came to the change room and was like, look, Paul, unfortunately, I'm not going to be. The prime word being, unfortunately, I'm not going to be reffing your fight. It's going to be this guy. And he was nice. I've never met Jason before. But as soon as that happened, I thought, okay, this I'm not only up against a wrestler in Jon Fitch, I'm up against a ref who whoever's put him in there has put in there, and Jon Fitch's local crowd, even though they were booing him in the end. So I knew I was up against it. And if you see how the first round went, Jon Fitch, fantastic wrestler, one of the best. But the first round, he really couldn't do nothing with me. I was pressed against the cage. I was defending his takedown attempts, trying to ankle pick. I was pulling him back up. He got me down for a moment. I got back up. And then finally, after 4 minutes of nothing, the referee separated us. And we've seen how it went after that. So I feel if a different ref was in there, an earlier break in the first, there was a few moments stalling in the second and third, Jon Fitch would have got knocked out. So it wasn't the fact that the matchup was bad. It was the fact that the referee was under instructions, I'll say, to allow Jon Fitch to work his tactics.
Wait a sec. So, I mean, that's a pretty big claim. You feel like he was told to not stop the action, to let Jon do what he was doing to you? By who?
I've spoke to refs. I've spoke to, maybe not directly, but you could see, you've seen the fight. You could see how the fight was. 4 minutes. 4 minutes against the cage with Jon Fitch doing nothing but burying his head underneath my ball sack. What the heck is that? What is that? 4 minutes of that. Me ankle picking him. He did nothing. There was no strike from him. It wasn't effective wrestling. It's like me doing, double jabbing thin air for 4 minutes. That's not effective. That is not effective. That's not a fight. The ref would say, come on, Paul, do something. He wasn't doing anything. 4 minutes of that for the first round. And there was moments in the second and third, maybe not for as long a period, but where he wasn't doing anything. That's a stand-up, surely.
And who do you think told him that?
Someone did. Someone didn't want me to win that night. Someone didn't want me to win. I know as an MMA fighter, yes, it's up to me, to make an attempt to bring the fight where I want it or whatever. But it's also up to Jon Fitch to try and finish the fight or do something, advance his position, which he really wasn't trying to do, or something. I feel like I was up against it that night, up against the ref, up against Bellator, up against the home crowd. If that fight was in England, maybe Mark Goddard as a referee, maybe Beltrain as a referee, there would have been a lot more, breaks in the action where the ref said, enough's enough. That's 4 minutes of you doing nothing, Jon Fitch, you ugly bastard. That's enough of your stalling on the ground with your pitter-pat punches, stand back up, or something. There would have been more moments for the fans to see that 30 seconds that we got at the back end of the first round. And if that would have happened, he would have got knocked out.
Shortly after the fight, you signed with Ali Abdelaziz to be your manager. Why did you make this decision?
First of all, he approached me. He said some good things, and obviously I know who he is. I know the kind of people that he has on his roster, and I feel like at this stage of my career, I know people are listening to me now. I know that when I spit my dummy out, I'm heard around the world. Everybody is still interested in what this mouthy little British kid has to say. Maybe not a kid anymore, a bit more of an old man, but people still like to hear what I have to say. And I feel with putting someone like Ali with me and my team, that maybe some of the things that I say and some of the ideas that I have will be executed without the whole hoorah or without me having to fight a guy like Jon Fitch as well as an instructed referee. Someone with a bit of power, should I say, or someone who can help me in the negotiations and having people hear what I have to say. Then for the last 12 months, 18 months of my career, it's going to be a very, very exciting journey.
No secret that Ali has a great relationship with the UFC. Are you doing this to try to get back in their good graces, or are you hopeful that you will be able to fix your relationship with Bellator?
Who knows? I got 2 fights left on my contract. We'll see what Bellator does. I had a lot of promises at the start. Hopefully the meeting with Scott next Friday goes very well, and we can sort things out. We can make entertaining fights. They can keep me active as promised. They can allow me to do kickboxing for Bellator, kickboxing as promised, and we can get a lot of things done. Otherwise, I'm going to have to drag Nick Diaz out of rehab. So I know I heard he's in rehab. He's having a tough time, so I have to drag his ugly ass out of rehab and get the rematch with him, and put on another entertaining fight for the fans. So who knows? Maybe we'll get Nick Diaz over to Bellator. Maybe I do these 2 fights. I go across to the UFC, help the dude out, and we'll see what's up.
So you mentioned Nick, who obviously isn't fighting these days. He's not in Bellator. I know that
In rehab. He's in rehab.
you're going to be at 200 this weekend,
He's
right?
in rehab. Yeah, I'm going to be at Bellator 200. You're going to say something about MVP, the other guy, the other dude, where the big fight's at, and that's a fight that's going to be made. Definitely, that will probably be one of the main points that me and Scott talk about. He says he doesn't want to fight because I've done him a favor and let the fight grow and allow him to make more money than he's probably ever made. He says he doesn't want to fight me now, but I think when we hash this deal out with Scott Coker, that the fight will be made and MVP will get an ass whooping. He'll probably do very well this weekend against the 155er, predominantly wrestler that they've given him to allow him to look good, as they've done with all of his fights that he's had. But when he does eventually step in there with me, the first genuine test of his career, he will get switched off within the first round. I'm pretty sure of that. If he can't beat a fat Toby Gonzalez, he got a split decision against him, then he's got no chance against me.
If Scott Coker and company are unable to make this fight, as you are still under contract with Bellator, that will be one of the greatest blunders of his Hall of Fame career. It is too good of a fight with too big of a backstory for them not to make it. And then I see MVP say to our own site, and Sean Al-Shadi spoke to him and he said he's done with the fight. He said that he believes you're self-harming yourself, that you're jealous of him, all this stuff. I don't know if you've seen these comments, but what is this just another? What's going on here?
I don't know.
You're unable to cross the finish line. I mean, this was heavy stuff that he said.
Is that what he said? Well, this guy's obviously deluded. He doesn't know how to conduct himself in business. The guy is he doesn't even realize that he's been given his career. He's been given his career. He's been given fights, and he hasn't fought anybody. So obviously, his self-belief is going to be at an all-time high. But he cannot walk in my shoes on any given day. He's not made of the same shit that I'm made of. So when we get in the cage, his whole world is going to unravel. He's probably going to be crying at the end of the fight. I'll say that. So we'll hopefully we'll make the fight. We get to see MVP in tears. I get to run home with a bunch of money, and my fans are all happy.
This is the fight that should have been happening this Friday at Bellator 200. I still don't understand why it hasn't happened yet, but I'm hopeful that it will happen now. Perhaps with the. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, it's not on my behalf. Me and my team, me and Ali now, Dominance, fight management, we're ready to make the fight. And like I said, I'm meeting with Scott on Friday. I'm going to be cage side on Friday to see Mike, to see him win. I'm pretty sure he should win. He should beat a guy like Rickles. He should do it pretty easily as well. Yeah, I'm interested to see the fight, and then hopefully we can get the contract signed and we can have a big date to announce.
Last thing for you, Paul, some exciting news also late last week. You have finally joined Instagram, so you're no longer just a Facebook guy, although Facebook owns Instagram, so you're still within the family. Does this mean we will finally see you on Twitter? Is that day finally now? Twitter, Semtex, is it happening?
How long has it took me just to get to this stage, just to get to Instagram? But like I said, I got the management team now with me, and they're pushing me in positive directions. And on their advice, I'll make the right steps. I'll make the right changes. But yeah, Semtex 170 is my Instagram. What do you call it? Instagram tag, Instagram.
Yeah.
What do I call it? That's how you find me anyway. You find me on Instagram, Semtex 170. Finally, I'm on there. Give me a follow. You should see me on Twitter this year. I'm going to give you that, Ariel. I'm going to promise
this year
I'll be on Twitter.
Paul,
this year.
Come on. What about today? I was told that it might happen today.
Today? If
yes.
I was told that there's a good chance. If there's a good chance it could happen today, then I'll see. Right now, I've got a bottle of Desperado in my hand. I'm enjoying my 2 weeks off. My wife's cooking me a great meal. I'm not really thinking about sitting down and opening up a Twitter account. So if
All
not
right.
today, then tomorrow.
Please give me the
Tomorrow,
scoop.
mate,
'Cause
I promise.
there is no story that I want more than Paul Daley finally joining Twitter. So please let me know when this happens.
100%. You've been one of the most biggest campaigners to get me onto Twitter. So, when I get there, it's going to be 95% down to you.
All right. Well, thank you. Paul, I'm glad to hear that things are maybe moving in the right direction here, that you're attending the event on Friday. I personally think you should be headlining that event against Michael Page, but alas, I digress. This is a good first step. Good luck with your meeting.
Yes,
Good luck
sir.
with everything. And whenever you want to tell us the story about you in military prison, even Dan Hardy is mocking me that I can't get the story out of you here on Twitter. He's telling me that I need to get the scoop. You owe me this one. This is what you're missing on Twitter. People are talking about you, Paul, on Twitter right now, and you're missing out on it. So you need to join and tell us this story once and for all before it's all done.
We'll get it done. I'll get it out there, mate.
All right, cool. Thank you, Paul. Talk to you soon.
Nice one, Ariel. Nice one, mate. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.